Hello, and welcome to Confessions of a Successful Leader, hosted by me, Andrew Tallents, the self-coaching expert. In each episode of the show, we hear the insightful confessions of a successful leader who wants to inspire others to live their professional and personal dreams. I am always keen to hear your feedback, particularly in relation to the kinds of leaders you would like me to invite onto the show in future. But for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the rich insights from our special guest. Hello and welcome to another episode of Confessions of a Successful Leader, hosted by me, Andrew Tallents, the self-coaching expert. In each episode of the show, we hear the insightful confessions of a successful leader who wants to inspire others to live their professional and personal dreams. Today, I'm delighted that Dave Conway has joined us in the studio. Dave is the founder of Conway Consulting, an organization that was established to help people all around the world to discover the power of their own minds in order to turn that power into results unlike anything they've ever experienced in their lives. Dave has coached thousands of clients, helping them level up their mindset, their business, and their results. A big component of his approach to mentoring and coaching is enabling his clients to make more decisions and move their ideas into action. Dave lives in Saskatoon in Canada and is married to Jack, who operates the business alongside him. Dave, welcome to the show.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Andrew.
I appreciate you coming on. So the audience would love to know a bit more about you and what your current focus is.
Okay, beautiful. Like focus in the sense of business focus, or myself inside my business, or
all the above, all the above.
Personal. Business-wise, the focus is always to, I guess the business and the personal business, or my role in the business is always just to improve the quality and quantity and spirit of our service. So at Conway Consulting, we base everything on the QQS method, which was pulled out of the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And the first Q is the quality. So there's nothing ever stopping us from improving our quality in what we do as a company, as individuals inside the company in our service. And the second is the quantity, which, a little more challenging to do. If we could just flip a switch and increase the quantity, that would be fantastic. But yeah, we want to serve more people. We want to serve more people faster. And we want to make our service impact people faster. And then the last is the spirit, which is kind of like our attitude of service. And we have found here at Conway Consulting that it really is our attitude towards ourselves, towards our company, towards each other, towards the prospects, towards the clients, and the clients' attitudes as well, that really have the biggest impact for everybody involved.
Great. What about personally?
Personally, so on the personal side of the company, my focus is always in communication. I believe that I'm in possession of some very powerful information in regards to the human mind and how we can actually make shifts in our lives and make those shifts be permanent. So with me, it's always an endeavor to try and improve the communication so that it creates that emotional impact, and so that the person sitting across the table from me understands on a deeper level really the things that I'm saying. So speaking, number one, always speaking, and then obviously in the written word as well. How can we get the written word to become more impactful? And on a personal side, as you can see, my voice is a little bit off because I'm just overcoming a cold. But health is primary. I do a lot of things. I travel a fair bit. I speak a lot. And if the health isn't right, then the rest of the vessel doesn't move too well.
Absolutely. Well, great. Thanks for introducing yourself.
So personal health.
And it's good that people get a different dimension. When a lot of people come on this show, they focus purely on the business, who they are in the business, but sometimes we don't get to hear what's important for them outside as well. So just tell the audience a bit about the experiences you had earlier in life. Now, whether that's childhood or teenage years or even the years after that most shaped your early leadership style? Just talk to the audience about that for me.
Well, as you know, Andrew, I'm a Manchester United fan, or fanatic. One or the other. When I was 10 years old, I went. So I'm originally from Ireland. I live in Canada now, but I'm originally from Ireland, Sligo, Ireland, Sligo, and I went back when I was 10 years old. My cousin Wesley, who actually died in a motorbike accident at 18. My cousin Wesley gave me a Manchester United jersey, and then ever since then, I was just a Manchester United fan. So I think the person who shaped me the most in leadership, or when I was in a youth anyway, would be no question Roy Keane. Now, I don't know if that's good or bad.
Good, I think it's good.
There you go. I was actually under like a hypnotist once, like for a show. I went up on stage and got hypnotized. And the hypnotist asked, who's your idol? And I answered Roy Keane in a hypnotic state. And he's like, oh, I don't know if that's good or not. But Roy Keane for sure. And as a young man playing soccer, I think that would be the main area that I would think leadership was involved. I was the captain of all my football teams. I was a great captain too. And I think what I did was I was really able to draw the best out of those around me. And ever since I was a young man, I never really understood why anybody would think less of themselves. I just never quite understood that. Like, what's the point in doing it if you don't want to win? Or what's the point in doing it if we're not going to give everything we've got in order to win and accomplish what we set out to do? So I think as a youth, 100% that just having a very black and white sort of attitude towards winning, I guess is what it would be. And I was very good at transferring that into others as well. In school, you don't want my leadership. In football, yes. School, no.
And that's interesting.
I spent all my time in the hallway.
Yeah, but that's interesting in terms of what you said there, because a lot of people who, some people get bullied at school, some people don't feel academic at school and therefore get made to feel inadequate. And sometimes that shapes, entrepreneurs and leaders in terms of the way they lead early on in their business. Was there anything from those times that you knew was helping you in the short term, but maybe not going to help you in the long term in terms of some of those experiences?
As a youth? The truth is, I never really thought about the future at all, probably till I was 21. I think a lot of my life, I've always kind of lived in the present moment all the time. My wife, Jack, she would go to school. She knew why she was going to school, even as a youth. I never knew why the hell I was going to school. I knew why I played football because I loved it. But I never really understood school. Truthfully, I never really did. And even to this day, I still don't. I still don't know why they send the children to school. It's just very interesting. I asked my daughter the other day, I said, Abby, why do you go to school? And she said, to learn. And I was like, oh, wonderful. I was like, and why do you learn? And she was like, so I can get smarter. And I was like, wonderful. And I said, and why do you want to get smarter at school? And then she said, so I can get a job. And I said, and why do you want to get a job? And then she said, well, to make more money, so I can make money. And then I thought, oh no, that's the worst way to make money is in a job. You see, you earn money through service. So I'm actually doing this weekend, I'm doing a money seminar for my children, Abby, who's 10, and Lily, who's 5. And I'm going to help them understand the 3 ways to earn money: time for money, money for money, and multiple sources of income. Because we don't earn money through work, we earn money through service. And the better we can make our service, the more money we can earn. So I'm going to try and undo some of that. But personally, I never was a fit for school. Never was.
Let's fast forward a little bit, and I know a little bit of your story around this, but I'm fascinated by, even though you had lots of knowledge up until 2017. It's what you did with that knowledge, and you've got a lovely story about that, about what changed your life and why you're doing what you're doing now. So, can you share about that, just in terms of what had been happening for a number of years, and what was that switch?
Prior to 2017 or after
I think
2017?
understanding what's happening prior, and then what was the thing that switched for your life to be changed after 2017. Yeah.
Oh, sure. Well, I can help you understand what happened prior 2017. Nothing. Nothing. That's the problem. Nothing. That's the issue. And I was trying. Yeah. So I think, number one, I'm a blessed man. There's no question about that. When I was 18 years old, I got invited to go hear a man speak. My mother brought me, and that man, his name was Bob Proctor. And some in the world are familiar with him. Some in the world are not familiar with him. Probably most are not. I believe that Bob Proctor was the greatest mindset educator on the planet in the last 50 years, no question. And I don't know why I wound up there, but I did at the Travelodge Hotel. I always say it was the first, last, and only time he was ever in our city, which is very interesting. And so when Bob Proctor came on and he spoke for 2 hours, I'd never heard anybody speak like that. Never. And like I said prior, like I never really understood school all that well. So I had lots of teachers, and I had soccer coaches, and I had parents, and I had auntie and uncle, and all kinds of people influencing me. I'd never heard anybody speak like that, speak about the mind. Everything he was saying was, number one, very fascinating and intriguing. And the second was, it made a lot of sense. And the foundation of what he was talking about was that you and I become what we think about. So if we want to start to change the outside, we got to basically start to change the inside. And as simple as that sounds, and as obvious as that is, it's actually very rare to meet somebody that truly understands that. So when I was 18 years old, I got blessed to go into that room. And since that day, I was obsessed with personal development, with mindset from a spiritual angle, but a spiritual angle that also is producing results, right? If a mindset shift isn't producing results, you better have a look at that, because results, they never lie, and they always have a story attached to them. So I spent from 18 to 33 years old, so I spent the next 15 years trying to create success, financial success, mental, emotional success, every form of success you can get your hands on. And I wasn't able to do it for 15 years. And I was listening to the audios, and I was doing all kinds of things. Couldn't make it happen. Just couldn't make it happen. And then in 2015, I got to the point where I actually became a very frustrated person. And something happened to me that actually scared me about me. And at the time I was in the construction industry, and there was a gentleman that was like a home inspector. And anyone that's listening to construction, anyone in construction that's listening right now, you're like, oh yeah, no, I hear you. This home inspector was I felt he was being very, very unfair, and he was calling us out on stuff that was, in my opinion, was nonsense. However, I got very, very angry, and I got angry to the point that I was going to actually physically attack him. And one of my employees ran out and actually had to physically hold me back. And after that, I was a little bit shook from that. And that was a bit of a bottom for me, because I thought to myself, this doesn't make any sense. I'm supposed to know better, but I'm not doing better. I'm in my opinion, I was endeavoring and I was trying, yet I got to this point that I was an extremely frustrated person that was snappable. And I actually lived in a bit of bewilderment from 2015 to 2017. And the answers never really came. I always felt that I was destined for something greater. And I think if your audience asks themselves that question, and I want to ask everybody, do you feel like you're destined for something greater? And the answer from almost everybody is yes. Yes, they do. So this feeling really started, it was almost like a drum, like Lord of the Rings with the drums and the orcs or the Uruk-hai. It's like that. It was just drum. It was like building and building. And then in 2017, I thought to myself, I wonder if Bob Proctor is still doing his thing. And I went online and I Googled it, and he was doing an event called the Paradigm Shift. At the time, I didn't even know what the hell a paradigm was. Paradigm Shift down in Los Angeles. And I bought myself and my wife, Jack, a ticket, and we flew down, and that was the most painful weekend of my entire life, Andrew. I was what I call top heavy. So I break my life into before 2017 and after 2017, because they are two very different lives. Different in the sense of my consciousness as an individual, but also very and dramatically different for my results in my physical world as well. And so that weekend, I made a decision that I would do every single thing that this man told me to do. And I hired him that day, and I bought an opportunity to become a licensed consultant as a Proctor Gallagher consultant through Bob Proctor. And within the first year, I became the number 2 selling consultant in the world. And I almost had found what I'd love to do. I've mentioned him already. I'm going to mention him again. Napoleon Hill, he said that one of his purposes in life is to help people find a labor of love. And I personally don't believe that an individual lives a truly complete life until you've found that labor of love. If you can find out what you love to do and dedicate your life to it, I think you'll just go from one wonderful day to the next wonderful day to the next wonderful day, and not that we don't have issues and challenges throughout the days. Of course we do, but they're very easy to overcome when you're in the right direction. So that's what changed for me. My life had a radical shift. I actually had a spiritual experience that weekend too.
And I know I've met people that knew you before 2017 and know you after, and they do say you're a different person. In that sense, how you live your life.
I had changed. You got it. I had changed so much from May of 2017 to May of 2018, that my wife, Jack, had to sit me down, and she had, I believe, 33 questions. And she asked me them because she didn't know who I was. She didn't know my belief system. I had killed Dave Conway off, terminated everything. I quit my job. I quit doing all the things I used to do. I quit playing football. I quit any form of connection to a past life prior to 2017. I cut everything and everyone out of my life except my immediate family.
Thanks for sharing that. And I want to move on to now the learning that people can gain from you, having established this new business where you're in a new field. You'd obviously been learning it with Bob, and you found this labor of love. But can you just talk about how you've had to adapt your leadership style as the business has grown? Obviously, Jack came into the business with you, and then you've grown the business with other people joining you. How have you had to adapt your leadership style over that period?
So Jack runs the operation of business. She is a much better leader than me. My leadership style is very hands off in a lot of ways. I'll do one call a week, 45-minute call a week with the team, and that's it. I actually said to them on Tuesday that this is what I believe is the best I can do for you. And I treat the team the exact same way that I treat our clients. So my leadership style is to be a mentor to the individuals within the organization. So all of my relationships with the clients and with the team are mentor to mentee. So I will give them ideas and suggestions and see what they do with them. If they don't do much with them, then in time that they're not here very long. I'm not a big fan of adult babysitting. I'm not a great manager. I'm not a great manager at all. That's not my role. And I would quit. I would quit working for Conway Consulting if I had to become a manager. I would quit. So for me, my leadership style is mentor to mentee, regardless if they're a client or if they're internal. And I just help them the same way that I help the clients, which is just get them to address certain things in their own mind. Where are they going? What are they doing? Help them to get clarity on what they want, and follow the same system that I'm using to change my life. I just teach them so they can change their life and get the results they desire. Actually, we have a lady who's an amazing woman, Wendy Holmes, in our organization right now. And we attracted Wendy back in March of this year, 2023. And Wendy had been in sales. She's a saleswoman, professional saleswoman and coach. And she'd been trying for 3.5 years with multiple companies, which in the beginning was a big red flag for me. I actually asked her, I said, why are you jumping from company to company to company to company? I was like, well, what's not to lead me to believe that you'll just be here and then jump out of here too? And she said, well, I just haven't found a company that has the integrity levels that I'm searching for. And I said, okay, well, I'll roll the dice. Let's roll the dice. So this woman's goal for the last 3.5 years, it's a very lofty goal, $100,000 a month as a commissioned salesperson. And I have mentored Wendy now internally in Conway Consulting. And this month, Wendy has had $100,000 a month as a commissioned saleswoman in our organization, which is amazing because it only took 6 months to do. So 3.5 years trying to make it happen for herself, and just here 6.5 or 6 months all buttoned up. So I like to just mentor them. That's my role. I am the mentor.
Thank you. And
that's how I like
to. And it's interesting in terms of your story and that switch point at 2017, but you're a human being and you have your demons, like we all do, in the sense of that tries to detract us from what's right for us and how we mentor and how we live our own lives. So how do you make sure that you manage those saboteurs, those demons that are present in all of us, to keep them at bay, to make sure you can keep on track of how you want to live your life?
Yeah. Number one, I surround myself with honest people. So, a lot in the world, they'll talk about positive mental attitude, and that's good. I actually think we need to have what I call an HMA, an honest mental attitude. And if you can get yourself in an environment that is direct, honest, and loving, then people can call you out on your BS. So set yourself up to win by surrounding yourself with people that are going to basically call you out when you start to drift or if you fall into a bad attitude. The second thing I like to do is I do regular inventories. So I've come to the place in my life today, thank God, that I know if there's something on the outside that I am not enjoying, that it's me that's producing it. I no longer play the blame game anymore. I take it all on the chin. I'm always looking in the mirror. If there's something on the outside I don't like, I must change it. And the reason that I wouldn't change something is, number one, I'm afraid to change it, is the main thing. And the second is the opposite of it. I don't have enough courage to change it. So it's the two things. So I do regular inventories. So when I do my inventories, number one thing I look for is resentments. So has a resentment creeped in? Because what resentment does, Andrew, is resentment cuts me off from my source of supply. And the second thing is it cuts me off from the person, from an individual. So for example, if let's say I resented you, I would be very close to you. So resentment cuts me off. So the first thing I watch for is resentments. The second thing I start to look for is fears. So is there a fear that I need more courage to act on? Is there some that I know I have to do, but I'm afraid to do it? And the third is indecision. So I will actually make indecision inventories and I'll write them down and say, is there a decision right now that I am in an indecisive state? Because when we're in indecision, it's like a resource or energy leak. We're not moving forward and we're stuck where we are. And as humans, we all want to just move forward all the time. Hence probably why everybody's listening to this, your podcast. is because they're looking for something, and that's good. So I watch for resentments against myself, against my team, and against the world in general, and even the prospect's client base. I watch for fears. Is there something I'm afraid of? And then the third is I look for indecision, and I do not tolerate indecision. I eradicate. I do everything I can to eradicate indecision. So those are my main things that I keep my demons at bay.
Thank you. And what I'm hearing there, and just say if there's any truth in this, is that many leaders I meet are driven by fear and they're not curious about them. They don't do an inventory. And in fact, what they tend to do is then instill those fears within their team, and therefore they might be performance managing from a position of fear. What I'm hearing from you is that the way that you lead your team is through that coaching and mentoring approach, which is from an intention of love and presence, which is then founded on the fact that's what you're trying to instill in yourself by being curious about your fears and your indecision. Is that fair in terms of, yeah?
Yes, 100%. And so in the beginning, when I was a one-man band, or myself and Amelia in the beginning, for the first 4 years of this business, like I was in sales. I have done now over 3,000 one-on-one coaching or sales calls. I have done over 10,000 one-on-one coaching calls, which is unbelievable. You learn a lot about people. And I know there's a lot of methods out there where people will sell based on fear. I've never sold based on fear. I've always sold based on what's possible. I've always sold on we can do better. You can change. I've always sold that idea. I don't think I've ever said what will happen if you don't do this? I don't know if I've ever said that on a sales call. Truthfully, I don't think I have. I don't sell based on fear. Fear is a huge motive, and it's a massive motivator. I think the world is runs on fear. And fear's suppressive. Fear's bad. Very, very bad. Some people might argue with that, but I don't think it's good.
No. Yeah, I agree. And that leads into, there's going to be lots of people listening to this who are probably in one of two stages of their life. Either they're in a corporate environment now where they're feeling helpless, and maybe they're blaming a little bit, their situation, their environment, and feeling a bit of a victim. There may just be feelings coming up for them, not judgments there. Or they may be either in a business now, which is their own business, where they're again fearing whether they can actually achieve what they set out to achieve, really live that dream. So what advice would you offer to those people out there that can relate to the story that you're telling, understand that inflection point at 2017 can happen, and how they can best channel what they've done so far in their lives and make a difference and change it for the better?
I think the first thing I want to say to everybody is, number one, you can do it. Okay, you can do it. You can truly start to change your life. You can. I've changed my life. I've seen hundreds of our clients change their lives. I've seen team members change their lives, like I shared about Wendy earlier. You can do it. Number one, so you got to accept the foundational belief that you can have a great life, that you can accomplish the things that you set out for. I think what we have to change is our attitude towards goals. A lot of times when we go out and we set a goal, a lot of it starts as a hope and a wish. Oh, I hope I can do it. Wouldn't that be nice? And most of us, when we set goals, it's usually the furthest out we've ever thought. So when we get to the goal, if you imagine you're standing at the edge of a cliff, well, if you go to the edge of a cliff, what happens when you're standing on the edge of a cliff? Well, you can get scared, right? If you're standing on the edge of a cliff, spooky. Well, move the edge, move it further. Don't let your goal be the furthest that your imagination goes out. If you do that, you're on the edge of it. So when we start to set goals, and if anybody here is listening and they have a goal, and a goal is nothing more than an idea that they want to experience in their life. They want to take an idea, this idea that has no form, it's just in the intangible form, intangible state, and they want to move it from their mind into their life. And isn't that all we do in life? Isn't that it? Isn't that all we're actually doing? Just moving thoughts into form. Boom, 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 boom. And the better we learn how to do that, and I'm telling you, you can learn actually how to do that. So when you set your goals, go out a little bit further. Have the goal that's all that's acceptable. That's not, wouldn't that be nice? That's all that's acceptable. And start to treat your goal setting like a stop on a train. If you're going from one city to another city and you got 10 stops between that city, you know you're going to stop in, I don't know, I'm just going to randomly say things. I don't know if there's actually a train route or not. You're going to go from like Manchester, Newcastle, I don't know, London, Brighton, boom, boom, boom. You're going to stop. And you're not nervous about stopping in Newcastle unless it's sketchy. Right? You're not nervous about stopping there. So start to understand that goals are meant to be achieved. I think if we can start to set our attitude around goal setting properly, I think an individual can dramatically change their entire existence on earth. So shifting that attitude towards goal setting. Number one, you can do it. Number two, goals are meant to be achieved. Get them out of the hope and wish bucket. Get them out of there. They are meant to be achieved. That's your next stop. That is my next stop. Hey, where are you stopping next? Newcastle. Okay, good to know. Hey, Dave, where are you stopping next? $1 million a month. Okay, good to know. Same attitude.
Get it, Dave. Thank you. And the audience will be interested to know about your attitude and what that's going to mean in terms of your future and Conway Consulting. So could you share with the audience, what are you going to be in service of in the future? How can people contact you if they want to be involved in some way in that? Just tell us a bit about the future.
Yeah, so Conway Consulting, we are a mindset company, is what we are, mindset training company. And, Earl Nightingale said, I don't know, 70 years ago or something, he said that you and I become what we think about. He said, you are now and you will become what you think about. I'm going to repeat that because I think it's one of the most amazing things ever said. He said, you are now and you will become what you think about. So your thinking has brought you to today, and today's thinking will bring you to tomorrow. And this is a law. We can't get away from this. So as we start to understand the mind, we need to start to learn about the mind. I have asked tens of thousands of people, who here believes that they become what they think about? And everybody raises their hand. Okay, then what the heck have you been thinking about? You see, the word mind and thinking are so used because we have memory, but they're not actually understood. Like when I start a lot of my talks, I'll say, who here is aware they have a human mind? And everybody laughs like, where did you get this guy, Andrew? Where did you get this guy? Of course we know. Is that news to anybody? I don't think anybody's going to go home after hearing me speak and be like, honey, you won't believe it. I heard a guy talk today and he said, I have a mind. And everybody agrees with it. But then when I ask the question, what role is your mind playing in your life? Crickets. Most people have to think about it. Now, for most people, they'll end up saying everything. Well, isn't that interesting? Bob Proctor said once, you don't understand a thing until you can teach it to someone else so as they understand it. I think you'd be hard-pressed to get very many people on this planet to stand up in front of a group of people, teach the mind and how to all change their mind so that the group of people could understand it. What does that mean? That means most people on this planet have absolutely no idea what they're dealing with when it comes to the mind. So Conway Consulting is mastering and has mastered to a large degree, but continually improving our ability to help people understand what it means to have a mind, how to change that mind, and to understand that mind operates by law. And I've found that the more I know about me, the more I know about you. Because inside, we're actually all the same. Sure, we may appear different. I might be a man, you might be a woman. I might have dark hair, you might have light hair. I might have brown eyes, you might have blue eyes. I might have light skin, you might have dark skin. Sure, we appear different and our results are different, but inside we're all the same. We all are dealing with the exact same process. It goes from a thought into the human's consciousness, into their subconscious mind, into their unconscious mind, and controls the behavior and is expressed through the body. So at Conway Consulting, we have a 21-day challenge for people, a 21-day mindset focus manifestation challenge to help people start to understand their imagination and develop their will and their focus. So start to build images, a bigger image of their self, bigger image of the life they want, and to learn how to focus on it. Also, we have a website called www.conway.consulting. So that's www.conway.consulting. And we're always doing live digital events all the time. The next one is called Quantum Leap Masterclass, and where I start to teach people how to have quantum leaps in their life, how to turn their annual income into their monthly income, how to actually make real change. Tons of things going on for people to get involved in.
Great, Dave. And I've attended some of those events in the past, and I've always come away with something to think about that I'd not thought about before, and also act on it. So, Dave, I really appreciate you sharing your experiences with our audience today. I know that many of them would have been inspired to reflect on their own position, whether they can actually change that position, think about how they can change their position through their mindset, and how they might make a difference to other people in their lives as well. So I really appreciate everything that you've done today. Thanks for your time, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, Andrew.
I hope everyone out there enjoyed this episode of Confessions of a Successful Leader. You can find out more information about conscious leadership and self-coaching by typing in Andrew Tallents into LinkedIn or your favorite browser. Until next time, don't forget to stay present, curious, and above all, conscious. Goodbye. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Confessions of a Successful Leader. You can access all previous episodes of the show at confessionsofaSuccessfulLeader.com. If you are interested in finding out more about conscious leadership and self-coaching, just type in Andrew Tallents into LinkedIn or your favorite browser, and you'll find my contact details and all the content that you need. Until next time, don't forget to stay present, curious, and above all, conscious.